Good afternoon, Hate Nation, folks, cats, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, and this is going to be the Penny Picks number 2. We're doing a back-to-back today, and then we have a back-to-back for you today with one addition to our Heat and one discount. We're taking Rozier out of the bets because, as my friend Dante said, he barely made the goblet, but at least he made it. Congratulations to you, Dante. I made it with Herro. My projections were pretty much on the money for Bam and Herro. When it comes to the third one, today is going to be Butler. I'm pretty confident that Butler is playing today. And I had done 3 for the 76ers as well, but one of them was Embiid, and it seems like Embiid is going to be doubtful, so I'm skipping him for today. Just as a reminder, you can follow me on Facebook, Mahapanies, on Twitter, Mahapanies, on TikTok, Mahapanies8, on Instagram, Mahapanies1, and I talk about those picks sometimes there, and you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. But just so you know, in Prize Picks, a goblin, which is the little green creature, it's going to fetch you less money, right? It's a lower risk, therefore less of a payout, a lower payout. And the devil is going to offer higher risk, but then a higher payout. The regular offers the regular payout. So without further ado, let's start with the Miami Heat. And let's start with our team owner, Herro, Tyler Herro. So Tyler Herro is projected to score 21.1 points today. Do you think he goes over or under that? I don't know. But the prop is 22.5. The gobbling is either 20.5 or even lower at 19.5. Those were the options as of now, 1:50 p.m. Eastern Time. The devil is at 29.5. I would bet over on the devil, depending on my level of confidence. But I would not bet over on the devil. I mean, there's no other on goblins and devils. You can only bet over. I don't recommend the devil. I do recommend both goblins, right? They're very reasonable risks, as you say, and I recommend going over the prop. That's my suggestion. I do think that Tyler Herro is coming away tonight with 23 to 25 points. That's my estimate. You do with it what you want. I would go over. In terms of 3-point made, it says here 3.5 is projection. The prop is actually 3.5. I would go with the goblin at 2.5. I don't know if I would go with the devil at 5.5, but if you're feeling lucky, you can see that Tyler Herro can score more of those. I would go over on 3.5, the regular prop. The rebounds, 5.2. There is no prop for that. The assists, 4.9. There is a gobbling prop for that for 3.5, which I would do. And the devil for 6.5 that I would not. The points, rebounds, and assists projection is 31.2, but the prop is 32.5, I think is a reasonable risk. The first gobbling at 30.5 is a reasonable risk. The second gobbling at 21.5 is also a reasonable risk, but it's almost, it's a lot better. As far as points plus assists, there is no prop, and there is also no prop for rebounds and assists. Jimmy Butler, hopefully he's going to be back today, and he's projected to score 18.3 points. There is no regular for him, only a gobbling for 14.5, which I would certainly do. It's a solid bet, and 23.5 for a devil, which I would not do. Not for now, not because it's coming back, but I would certainly think twice. I would think twice with Butler. I would take the gobbling. I wouldn't take the regular prop for Butler. Butler, of course, there is no prop for 3 points made. Rebounds, 5.1. There is a gobbling, 3.5, which I would take. I think it's a reasonable risk. For assists, 5.2. There is only a devil of 5.5, which I think it's a reasonable risk. So if you're feeling lucky, get the devil on Jimmy Butler. That could give you a higher payout. There is no prop for points, rebounds, and assists. There is no point for props and rebounds, but there is a prop for points and assists. The projection is 23.5. The prop is 23.5. So again, that's a reasonable risk to go over or under. It's up to you. It's a reasonable risk either way, right? There is no leeway. There is no point differential. The rebounds also, the rebounds and assists, there is no prop for that. Now, bam! Adebayo is projected to score 18.2 points. The devil is the only one available with 24.5. I would stay away from that. No prop for 3 points made. Rebounds, 10.4 is the projected, 10.5 is the prop. Reasonable risk to go over or under. 9.5 is the Goblin, reasonable risk, reasonable risk. 13.5 is the Devil, unreasonable risk, would not do it. Assists 4.3, he's projected. There is no regular. A Goblin is 3.5, which is a reasonable risk, as well as the Devil is a reasonable risk if you are feeling lucky. There is no prop for the total points, rebounds, and assists, but there is a prop for points and rebounds. 28.6 is the projection. 30.5 is the prop. It's a risky one. I would, it's a risky one. I either to go over or under. It's a reasonable risk, but it's a risk nonetheless. No more props for Bam. For Paul George, we have only 2 players, Paul George and Caleb Martin. Paul George, he's projected to score for the 76ers 22.8 points. The prop is at 21.5, so that's a reasonable risk to go over or under. The Goblin at 17.5, grab it if you can. Why not? And the Devil is at 24.5, which also is a reasonable risk, right? It's a higher reasonable risk, but it's a reasonable risk. For 3-point made, he's projected to go at 3.4. There is a regular prop. There is only a Goblin and a Devil. The Goblin is 1.5 and the Devil is 3.5. The Goblin is a grab. The Devil is a risk, right? It's a reasonable risk. For rebounds, is projected Paul George, 5.7. The prop is 5.5, so it's within reasonable risk. 4.5 for the Goblin is also within reasonable risk. And 7.5 for the Devil is also within reasonable risk, but higher. I don't know what to tell you. I think on rebounds here, I would go over. On the regular prop, I would use the Goblin as well. In assists, is projected to go 4.3. The prop is 4.5. So obviously, he's going to have around 5 to 6 assists. I would put over on this one. I would use the Goblin at 3.5. I would even go with the Devil if I'm feeling lucky at 5.5. Points, rebounds, and assists. 30.8 is the total, is the prop. I think he's going to do that because I think he's getting about 20. I think he's going to get about 23 to 25 points, right? And just with the rebounds, so that can help a lot. I think he's going over the 30.8, the projection, but I don't think he's going over the regular 32.5. It's a reasonable risk to use the regular as under. I think it's a good reasonable risk. At over is a less good reasonable risk. The points and rebounds total is 26.5. The regular is 27.5. It's a reasonable risk. The points and assists 27.1. The regular is 26.5. Again, it's a reasonable risk to go either over or under. It's a risk, but it's a reasonable risk. There is no prop for rebounds and assists. And finally, Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, our guy. Fortunately, we fumbled, but they fumbled as well, right? They fumbled more than we did. He could have been in our team, but you know what? That's not a problem. 10.1, I like him a lot. 10.1 points is a projection. It was 9 this morning, so it's important to keep an eye on projections. 10.1 is a projection right now. 10.5 is the prop. Reasonable risk to go under it. Reasonable risk to go over it. The Goblin is a grab at 7.5, and it's a super grab. It's like a discount at 5.5. It does make sense that he's going to score at least 6-7 points this game. I think he's going to score about 8. My thing is points under. Definitely grab the Goblin for 7.5. Definitely grab the Goblin for 5.5. If you have 2 bets, you can use both of those. The Devil is 11.5. It's a reasonable risk, but I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's getting to more than 10 points today. 3 points made, 1.2, so a little bit over 1. The prop, there is no regular prop. There is only a Goblin prop for 0.5 is a reasonable risk. The Devil is 1.5. That's a reasonable risk as well. Again, those can only be over. The rebounds, 5.3 is a projection. I think is getting around 5. Honestly, that's a prop 5. So if you want to put, that would be a risk, right? That would be a reasonable risk to put 5 because if you can tie, but you could also go under or go over, and that would be a little bit complicated. That's just the nature of the game. The Goblin is a reasonable risk at 4.5. It's not a reasonable risk for the Devil, so I would stay away from it. Assists, he's projected at 2.5. I think he gives about 3-4 today. So I definitely grabbed the Goblin at 1.5. I don't know if I grab the Devil. If you're feeling lucky, yes, because it's 3.5. I said 3-4. If he goes to 4, you get the Devil. The Devil is a higher payout. Points, rebounds, and assists is projected to go 16.6. I would go the prop is 18. I would go under on that prop to 18 as a reasonable risk. I would go with the Goblin at a reasonable risk. I would not go with the Devil, as I think it's unreasonable in general. Points and rebounds, the projection is 15.4. Again, I think it gets about 14, 15. So that's tough. That's a tough one. I'll go under that. I'll go under the 15.5 prop, but it's a reasonable risk to go either over or under. I would go under. Points and assists, 12.6. Again, the prop is 12.5. It's very close. Reasonable risk to go over and under. I'll go under. I think he scores. You know what? I would go over on this one because I think it gets to about 13. So I'll go over. Reasonable risk. There is no other prop, and that's it for that. If it's gonna, maybe we would have an extra 76 spacers, but I didn't want to do anybody else. That's pretty much it for me. That's my homework for today. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this complicated world of ours. Play responsibly. Let's go Heat.